Since Species.
Guess what, don't you know? It's the Sin Spacey Show. Guess what, don't you know? It's the Sin Spacey Show. Guess what, don't you know? It's the Sin Spacey Show. Guess what, don't you know? It's the Sin Spacey Show. Guess what, don't you know? It's the Sin Spacey Show.
Welcome to episode number 17.
Guess what, don't you know? It's the Sin Spacey Show. Guess what, don't you know? It's the Sin Spacey Show.
Guest starring Plodsky, G to the Next Level, and the Cross-Legged Collector.
It's the Sin Spacey Show, everybody!
G'day invaders, welcome to Sin Spacies, and this is episode number 17 of the Sin Spacies Show on the new PC. So we are going to be doing Discord from now on, not Google Hangouts. Google's been given a flick. And we've got a follower, Ronnie Rampage. Thank you, Ronnie, for the follow.
Nice.
So,
Oh my gods.
oh really? Okay. So yeah, I'm joined by three good eggs here. We've got Cross-Legged Gamer. How you doing? Cross-Legged Collector. Let me get it right. Can you just change your name? G to the Next Level.
Hey,
And-
how you doing?
And we've also got Plodsky, who's just pondering. I don't know.
No, I'm just
but-
about to retweet your tweet. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. And so this is the new look. We can get all four people showing up on the screen in equal boxes, which I couldn't do before. Plus my computer is not going to crash itself, so that's a bonus. That's always a good thing, right?
Good start.
Yeah. And I'm only going to improve it from here on. I've been setting it up all from scratch last night to try and get it back to as good as possible. But there's still a few quirks. When we were just starting this up, I was in Darth Vader voice for about 5 minutes before someone had the heart to tell me.
Could you imagine the whole stream?
Nah, you really gotta hear the original out of it.
No, hang on, I can just do it now.
I am your father.
All right, so let's kick off Cross-Legged Collector. What was the very first console that you ever got to play? Or that you owned, and the first game that you played on it, I should say.
The Atari 2600. That was the first one, and the game that I know I played first was Adventure. Is that game
Really?
kind of a maze game, like a little block holding those big keys and that weird dragon coming around? That was
Can I just ask though, how old were you?
probably about 6 or 7, maybe.
So did you know what the hell was going on?
That was gonna be my question. It's like you must have had a big imagination to figure that out at 6 or 7. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's actually impressive.
Some kind of a representation of some kind of medieval quest or something. So I just put the rest of it in my head. I'm pretty sure that block had a Darth Vader voice, but.
Shots fired.
But yeah, I played Pac-Man and Empire Strikes Back, Hero, and all kinds of stuff on that system back in the day. So
Okay.
it wasn't until '85 that I bought the NES.
So my next question for you is, what's your favorite game of all time? No fence sitting.
Oh my goodness gracious! Favorite game of all time? It'll
Yeah.
change, year by
Well,
year.
okay, at the moment then.
What takes your fancy?
Now, if I had to pick one, my goodness gracious, Rystar. I've been
Nice.
told it's actually
That's
Restar, but
It's
it
Ristar.
sounds better if you go with Rystar.
I've always gone with Rystar, but I always screw up pronunciation,
Yeah,
so
same.
don't
It's
ask
because
me.
he attacks you with his wrists.
Yeah, the music in that one, the graphics, the charm and the character that game has. I mean, hell, it's right up here somewhere. I mean, so that's the one I'll pick for now. Yeah, that or Shinobi 3. One of those two.
Ooh, very nice. Big
A
shame.
man after my own heart.
Don't watch my Let's Play on it. I was poo-pooing on it because I was comparing it to the one before, and yeah, I kind of I prefer the original one. I prefer the original.
You got to play the arcade versions first, and then go to the console second. Oh my god!
I'll talk about that in a second because there's a question coming up on that. All right. So and what are you currently playing?
I'm messing around with the TurboGrafx Mini.
Jeez,
Right now.
another one.
So, but as far as what am I actually playing right now? Grindstormer for the Sega Genesis.
Oh,
Ooh, very nice.
beautiful.
Grindstormer.
Putting some
Shoot 'em up. It was a shooter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shoot it, I'll put hair on your knuckles. Tell you that.
it's somewhere.
Awesome, dude.
But yeah, I've got Grindstormer. That's what I've been playing lately is Grindstormer.
Can I just ask? Have you got a complete collection there? Because it's looking very complete.
Oh no. I don't have anything what G's got. It looks like he has double.
He has got the complete.
Retail.
220.
Retail complete. Don't have the mail order games, but other than that, retail complete.
Oh, you got to get on that.
Wow.
Nah, joking.
No. My wife would kill me.
No, I've got 220 business games, but they're all pretty good ones. So I keep growing as much as I can.
There you go, man.
All right, and yeah, G to the next level. George, right?
Yes.
So
However,
we've already asked you way back. You were on the last episode of the. Actually, no, you have been on the Sin Spacey show since it changed its name. Yeah, that's right. But
yeah,
so we've already.
that one with Smash JT and everybody, the chaotic 5-person episode.
You're gonna have to be a little. Yeah, you're gonna have to be a little more specific. There's a lot of chaotic episodes. We've already asked you the initial questions, but what are you currently playing at the moment?
Too much Animal Crossing. That's probably the best answer I can say.
I'm honestly shaking my
is
head.
But
Why?
beyond that, Streets of Rage 4. I'm still trying to get everything in that game too. And I also just started, because it showed up on Xbox Game Pass, I just started playing Nier Automata. Finally.
All right.
Ooh. Damn, I didn't even know it was on Game Pass.
Yeah, it just dropped, I think, last month was when it came out on Game Pass. I think it's still there.
Streets of Rage 4. I'm surprised at how good that was.
Dude,
I
Amazing.
wonder now, because I could do a full playthrough of Nier right now.
Anyway, that tangent. We're gonna move.
Yeah,
Stick
right,
to. And
Yeah,
speaking and Plotsky, what was the very first console that you got to own or play?
Okay, so my very first
Or
console
own,
was
own.
Mega Drive 2. Own?
Yeah.
Oh, like as in myself or my family or...
In your family. In your family.
Yeah, it was a Mega Drive 2, would you believe,
Okay.
in 1995. I should remember all this. I remember
Shit, I
picking
feel
up-
old.
Oh, you're telling me. I feel old.
Anyway, yeah, and the first game.
Very first game was either Sonic 2 or Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. That was what sparked my love for Street Fighter, because I remember I used to go to arcades with my cousins a lot. Like
Oh, right.
Zone One.
Yep.
So what happened was they bought for my birthday, well, I was like 8 at the time, they bought the Championship Edition on Mega Drive, which apparently is now semi-rare, I believe.
I got it. I just picked it up for the first time
I've-
last year.
the
Yeah.
Original box, I've still got the original box. I've lost the manual, but the box and the cartridge still works.
talking
Everything
about Special Champion Edition? Not Super Street Fighter.
No, I need-
Championship
it's-
Edition.
Yeah, I want to get Super, but the audio on that version is just so
It's
bad.
Not great.
Nah.
Special Champion, that's way better, honestly.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm like, I don't remember this game being rare and expensive.
No,
maybe
the-
maybe
the
in
next
that
one up.
region.
Go on eBay.
Well, Warrior.
This is almost
Yeah,
Super Street Fighter.
No, so the one you're holding in your hands, World Warrior. There's one between that called Championship Edition.
Oh, okay, and that's the one you've got.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. You're
It's
right.
a PAL edition as well, which is even rarer apparently.
You're right.
Actually,
Okay, so Street Fighter, and what's your favorite game of all time? No fence sitting, gun to the head.
Now you got me thinking. Are we allowed to swear on this channel?
Yep, go for it.
Fuck. All right, now you got me thinking. Because
Floodgates are-
I love series, not particular games, but okay,
Nah,
you know what?
fence sitting. Nah, out of there.
Okay, there you go. Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, Substance.
Okay.
Boys.
Yep,
There you
okay. I'll accept that.
I will say it's the perfect game from that series. The only thing that knocked Metal Gear Solid 5 off that perch was the fucking story. That was dope. Konami, just to fuck you, Konami. That's actually the special edition. I paid $200 for that, and for what? A shit story. A game that wasn't completed, and then they tried to sell the DLC.
It's his favorite of all time.
I spent a month
And then what you
streaming
did
that
after that,
recently.
Metal Gear Survive.
No, I avoided like the plague.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
did. They could tell in the sales.
I'm doing a chronological playthrough of the whole series, and I just literally finished that Metal Gear Solid 5 like 2 months ago, and I'm like, never again. I hated every minute of that.
And what are you currently playing at the moment?
Okay, so Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear 2, Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise, and...
Hence a lot of fisting jokes on your Twitter account.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. You give me an opportunity, I'll go for the jugular. That's how I operate.
All right, so we have got 8 questions loaded up on this Stream Deck thingy of mine. And we're going to get started straight away. These transitions to go to the questions is it's always a bit janky, so we'll see how this goes. But what I'm playing at the moment, Animal Crossing, but I've kind of gone off that a bit and gone to Xenoblade Chronicles. Determined to finish that finally. I've never finished the game before.
I have avoided that. It's like everything else. I try and get I'll buy one series and just stick with it. Xenoblade wasn't really my thing, sadly, but
should be your thing. It's the storyline is so good. The
voices,
plot.
though, oh my god, the English. Yeah.
They didn't change it from the original release, right?
Why would you? That's one of the best features for is the voices. Does everything have to be American?
No. Okay. Oh, God, blimey! Bloody Shaw's got the sword of truth. Oh, yeah.
The sword of truth. For me, it adds so much character to the game, and they're so sincere with their voice acting.
You can't say it doesn't stand out because of it.
The long and the short of it is they were initially were going to have American voice acting, but Nintendo of America just did not want to bar of it. They didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot. So they went to Nintendo of Europe and they were like, "Yep, we're all over this," and so that's why they got British voice actors instead.
I'll say this: it's very good of them to go that direction. They could have gone with some other accents, though. Seriously, the Cockney accent did not serve that well.
I like it. We're gonna disagree on that one because I'm actually a fan of it. Gonna get first question. I gotta get this loaded up. I should have printed this out. My printer does not work. It does not want to play well. First question is from Game Boy Bryant, and we'll let Game Boy Bryant take it away. Please, what have you got for us?
It's Brian again. I said before the camera came on, one of my pet dogs let me snicker. But anyway, this is a question that I've had on my mind for a little bit. It's actually about the ports that were for Wii U to Switch. Particularly, they cost too damn much, like I said before. But here's the thing. Is there anything you think the Wii U version did better that the Switch version possibly didn't? And it could be something that's very simple, very minor. I mean, personally, even if it's not really wise, I prefer playing Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U because of the maps on the gamepad. Makes it easier to see who has what, especially if somebody has that blue shell. It's a massive pain in the ass. Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this subject. Because really, there is probably some things the Switch versions of certain games do that the Wii U versions probably could. Also, isn't it freaking stupid that when they ported New Super Mario Bros. U to Switch, they kept that name except they call it Deluxe? What is Deluxe about it? Nothing's changed except for maybe a few characters. It's dumb. Hey, wait to hear your answers.
Alright, thanks to Game Boy Bryant. This is so damn good. This computer is not crashing on me and it's working so flawlessly. I'm touch wood. This thing's a beast. I've got such a beast of a computer here. And it's just,
sounds like it.
yeah.
Oh yeah. We've been going on about it since.
I'm still. It's been 2 weeks and I'm still, in awe of it. So these question, any Wii U ports that you think held up better than the? I'm gonna say New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii New Super Mario Bros. U, simply because the touchscreen support and multiplayer was better on Wii U than the Switch, because you had the other players tapping in to create blocks as you were playing. I can't really think. I mean, the Wii U's not better in technical terms than the Switch. It's not as.
It's hard to. It's like apples and oranges.
It's like slightly better with the Switch, but not by much.
Is it?
So, I think, isn't it? Or maybe it is.
I think that I do think that the Switch is. I think the Switch is like slightly better, but I know that, like, for example, Breath of the Wild, the load times on the Wii U is actually quicker than the Switch.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if it was originally meant to be on the Wii U, and then went, oh, stuff it. Yeah.
Wii U's not a
That's
thing.
the version I played. I played Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. I didn't even
Yeah, I did too. I did as well, because I didn't have a Switch day one.
So I mean, it's really, that's a hard one for me too, because I'm just like, most of the games that I've played that were on the Wii U ported to the Switch fairly well. I mean, I thought Bayonetta 2 was fine. Like most of the other ones that I've played have gone through. Mario Kart was fine.
It is really sad that there's really little reason to own a Wii U now. And I love the console.
I know one reason.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Which one?
Sonic Lost World.
Oh.
You just want it for the DLC to play around in Hyrule. I got to get on that. I still haven't got it. Game Boy Brian's actually watching. He just commented, Breath of the Wild loads faster on the Wii U. Didn't know that. Yeah, that's something that, because everyone was curious about how the two ports will play out against each other. In fact, when you rewind back to when Breath of the Wild first came out, a lot of people didn't even realize that the Wii U was going to have a version of it. There was so many people that just didn't even know. And for me, that was my version. That was the one I was going after. I don't know. Will it be worth something because of how rare it is compared to the
It may
Switch?
go up in price.
Yeah.
It might go a little bit. I mean, it's going to be a while, but I think the Wii U, just as a whole, the games are going to go up in value.
It's going to be. It's going down the path of the Dreamcast. We seem to keep having these same conversations in these chats over and over again.
I've got a feeling things like Wind Waker will definitely go up in price because of how rare that particular game is. Very popular.
You know they're going to port that. Come on, it's going to be on the Switch.
I bet it will. Twilight Princess
eventually.
They'll probably wind up making it.
What was that? Cross-legged gamer. I'm doing it on purpose now.
Cross-legged killer.
I'm doing it on purpose now.
Game on the Wii U. I remember that was going up in
Right, DuckTales Remastered.
Oh yeah.
So that's one that if you've got to hold on to it.
I have
keep
it.
I've
And
got-
I actually have it on the Wii U, thankfully.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the version I mean.
But yeah, back to the question. Was there, before we move on to the second question, anything?
I can't think of anything, to be honest.
I mean, Mario Kart was the first one that came out that made people go, "Oh crap! They're porting our stuff over to the Switch." All the poor Wii U owners are just feeling like they've been done over. Yeah.
It gives them an opportunity to make more money on that because I mean the user install base on the Wii U is only a fraction of what the Switch is.
Yeah, no, I personally think the more people that get to play it, the better. So
Exactly.
Power to the people that.
Now,
But Nintendo.
3D World. If only we could get that, then I would very much be happy.
Oh yeah, that's one that hasn't come out. I was going to say that Nintendo fans are frauds. They should have supported the Wii U. They're so fake.
The best part is I bought that thing and literally I bought like 5 games for it, and suddenly out of the blue, it's like, oh, by the way, we're stopping support for this.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like I bought Wind Waker and then that on top. I bought that and also I got a couple of games free with my package. I'm like, hang on, where's the rest? Oh, we've stopped support for it.
Wii U, the Wind Waker on the Wii U was great. Yeah, it's such a good port. All right.
Did I hear you mention Mario 3D World?
Yeah, we did mention it.
Super Mario 3D World. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the one that's saying that's what needs to get a port to the Switch.
but probably won't.
I agree. I cherish that game.
I love it.
I really
Actually,
do.
they are spreading a lot of rumors that Mario is going to be getting a lot of different games on the Switch in the next year or so. So that could be one of those. But they're all talking about Sunshine.
Oh, really?
They can keep that. They can keep
Well,
that.
you don't like Sunshine?
Well, that's a bit controversial.
I'm not a fan of it.
Wow.
It'd be cool.
like it much.
I just personally didn't care for it. It bored me. Compared
Bored you? Bored
Like,
you?
I thought Galaxy was way better.
Well, of course it was. We're not. That wasn't the topic, but I don't think it was that bad a game.
It's not bad. It's just I don't know.
Everyone was still getting over Mario 64 at the time when it came out, and then when they released this, it's like, okay, here we go. We got another thing for you, and they're like, what's
Yeah,
this?
I think it was just big shoes to fill.
No,
on
no.
Mario 64 to do
Yeah.
that.
All right. Thanks for the question there, Game Boy Bryant. We're going to move on to Super Jude, not just Jude, Super Jude. Jude, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm here today with a question for you about Nintendo. I brought some amiibo props to lead into my question about Super Mario Brothers 3, one of my favorite games. So, Brian, my question to you and to anyone else on a panel, if there's a panel, what's your favorite way to play this game? Do you use the whistles right away and warp to the big world, or all the way to World 8? Or do you enjoy every level and get lots of items and coins and points? Please let me know. Have a great day.
Alrighty. Thanks, Jude. That's an interesting question. Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, I'm gonna just get up and say I have never really played Super Mario Bros. 3 much. It's a game that I do need to get on.
Yeah, same
You got to rewind back when that came out. I was working for Sega. I was pro Sega. I had
Oh, now you're cool.
I had in my Sega folder where all the hints and tips were in there, an anti-Mario thing made up. I basically got one of those no non-smoking signs and put Mario in instead, and so that's how like anti-Mario I was back in the day. That's gone. I've embraced the Mario plumber in me, although I did a bit of a shit post the other day saying that Sonic is better than Mario. that got a great great reaction. So the question is, do you just play for it level by level, or do you skip jump? How do you prefer to play it?
I pretty much play it all the way through. No warps. No
No warps.
I like to. This is one of the few games of its type that I really like to 100% just all the way. I'll do all the bonus areas. I'll do every single level and just try to get everything that I can. Like, I know you'd be tempted to use like the whistle and all that stuff to get past.
Yeah, that's what
No,
she was
Mario
referring
3
to.
To me, it's just such a masterpiece that it's like by the time you really start getting into your groove, it's done. So why skip levels and do anything like that? I just go straight through it. And for me, it's like preferred way to play it. Gotta go OG. It's over there, so I can't reach it. But you gotta
Same.
go OG NES Mario 3. With just on a
I
regular NES.
prefer to play it on the Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance version's good.
And
It's good.
because they reduxed it, and the only thing with that version is that it's got that annoying, just what I needed every time you
Yeah.
get a power up, and it's just like, can we change that up a bit? No.
Oh,
I like to
Mamma
play
Mia.
the original hardware if I can. I prefer it to play it as if it's like the first time I've ever played it. So
Yep.
I don't know where all the warps are. I don't know where all these little secrets are. I'm pretty much playing it as if it's the first time I've ever seen it, and just kind of taking myself back to that just sense of awe and wonder that I had when it first came out. That's the best feeling. So when I can play it on like the original hardware and on a CRT television, and just again hearing it and playing it as if it's the first time, that's my preferred way to play that game. Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna have that moment because I have just bought an NES for the first time. All these years later, actually, you can just see it right
Oh, there
there.
it
Yeah, that the control deck. The box is
Box and
immaculate.
everything.
The box is immaculate, but the system itself is not so flash. So I need to get that. Yeah, so that's a project of mine. But I have got Super Mario Brothers 3. I want to get Super Mario Brothers, the OG original. For me, I just prefer the original. I know it's not as good. I know that it's not as flash, but there was just something magical about that very first game that came out. That I was in Grace Brothers, the toys section.
Yeah, that's
and just
recently already.
Walking, it was I was walking past and I saw these kids hanging around this TV, and what is this? And because back then games weren't color, they were color, but they weren't colorful. So everything was a black screen. Space Invaders, Berserk, they always had black backgrounds, and this is a game that had blue skies for the first time. And it was just like, holy crap, this is so good. And they were finding secrets.
It's not as good as Mario 3, but it's definitely more iconic.
It is.
The original Super Mario Brothers. Far more iconic. I bet you can have people whistle the music to Super Mario Brothers. Dun 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 dun.
It just doesn't go away, does it? It will not go away. Game Boy Bryant saying, funny, it's funny you mentioned Super Mario Bros. 3. I beat it a while ago. I was playing it and I decided to beat it without warp whistles, and it took a bit. Yeah, well, that's how most people would have played it back in the day. Yeah, the hard way.
It's one of those games. I think there's only maybe one other game on this planet that I have beaten and played through more times than Mario 3. I love it. Even when I got the NES Mini and NES Classic, I had to play through the game all over again. All
right, here's a slightly different question. How many copies of Super Mario Brothers do you have on different consoles?
Honestly, the original Super Mario Brothers, I think I only have just the original on the NES.
I'm gonna put that out on Twitter. Actually, I'm gonna clip. I'm going to clip this for later. Guys, if you're watching, in comment down below, how many copies of Super Mario Brothers on different consoles have you bought over the years? And this is a big to Nintendo, because they just refuse to give you a pass to keep, like what Xbox is doing now. Nintendo would just rather get, it's the Mario Brothers tax time. Come on, cough up.
Every time.
Every freaking time.
The Switch Online count or no?
Yeah, that's one. Because you're paying for that, and you don't own it.
Right. Well, I guess that's two for me.
Yeah, it's a frustrating thing with Nintendo for me, is having to buy the same bloody game over and over again on different.
I think I got like 3 copies somewhere.
I've got Game Boy, the Game Boy Color one, which is the deluxe, which is one of my favorite versions of the game. That's one of my favorite. Have you played that recently? You got the time trials and stuff in that. They never brought that over in any other. They haven't brought that over in any other version since. Thank you for the question there, Super Jude. I should add reverb on that. Next question is, super. Next question is from Dave. Dave, what have you got for us, matey? Question number 3.
Hey everyone, this is Dave from Zyloga Motor here, asking the question for the Sint Spacies crew. What's the game that your opinion has changed the most on over the years? And this could be a game that you either liked a lot and now you just can't stand it, or maybe it's something that you didn't appreciate back in the day and now you love it and you think it's underappreciated. Anyway, that's the question. Hope you guys have a good show.
Alright, thank you there, Dave. Dave, you got a pretty impressive collection in the background there. You guys can't, so just for you guys at home, these guys can't see the questions. I'm going to pull the magic. Yeah, I'm going to pull the curtain back a bit. We're just relaying it. Unfortunately, that's how the tech works. One day I'll get it so that I can. Actually, I just had a thought. I can do it. I can stream. I'll do it later one time, but on the next one. But yeah, his question, a game that you've flip-flopped on over the years. Plod is itching to answer this.
Okay, Final Fantasy VII. You know why? Playing that remake, streaming it day one, and then realizing how much filler that Square Enix, like it's like a whole different generation from when they did in 1997 to now.
Mhm.
It's like, we could make a game, one complete game in say 5 years, 3 discs, 60 plus hours of story, done, dusted. Remake. Oh, okay, fair enough. They're trying to go for something different. What the actual fuck? 13 hours I spent streaming that fucking game, and I was only met Aerith at hour 13. It would have been a 2-hour thing to get to her in the original version. I kid you not. I timed it.
So but that's fan service. There are people that just freaking
cool.
love. Okay, that's one way of looking at it, but there are some people that
Who've never played the original.
yeah,
that will ruin people's. Okay, I hate the way that they've gone with that. But at the same time, though, it sort of made my appreciation of Final Fantasy VII a lot greater. That's what I was coming back for, because you can see where they were going with the original. Sure, it had a lot of shortcomings, but at least there's a coherent story that is fluent. This is, here's a high, fucking low, high, low, continuously, the whole time.
So,
there's a lot more lows than there are highs, I can tell you.
My only criticism of Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation was those blocky polygon for.
I like that.
I liked it too.
No, but the fact that there was 3 different versions, art styles of the characters throughout the game, and I just thought, and that was because of in-house fighting in Square and how they were going to approach it, and so they were like, the managers were like, fuck it, you all win. You all get a version.
That's the thing. At least there was some creativeness to it. This is all one game engine the whole way, and then suddenly they go, okay, how can we make a filler? Oh, let's add a section which is 20 minutes in the original game to 4.5 hours. That airbuster fight took 4 hours to get to, from the point you start getting into the base to the point you actually start fighting the fucking thing.
Okay.
Again,
it's not so. Not for everyone, is what you're saying. the short of it.
I'm still playing through it, and I'm gonna finish it just to prove a point. But
I'm not. I'm never gonna get into an argument with you if you go through that much effort just to prove a point.
Well, this is the thing,
You're a bit of a punish to argue with.
So this is the thing. I have seen the end of it. I know what happens. They've changed a whole lot of stuff that involves Crisis Core and all that, and it's actually interesting.
No spoilers. Keep it.
I'm not spoiling, but
yeah.
It's a whole thing that they've mixed in. They're trying to do something different, which is cool. But again,
okay. Anyone else? Because that was very passionate.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got very.
Cross-legged.
Totally understandable, man. I mean,
cross-legged collector.
Yeah.
Cross-legged collector, you there?
It was like,
Is his camera on loop? Oh no. Okay. Yep. Okay.
He's still going.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm trying really hard to rack my brain and think of one, and I'm just not really coming up with one that I thought sucked, and then now I think it's great, or one that I used to think was great, and I'm like, man, it really hasn't aged well. Like I said, I'm beating myself up trying to come up with something, and it's hard to do because generally whenever I play something that's, an aged game, an older game, I put myself in the mind frame, I realize how old this hardware is and when this game was made. So I'm never like, this looks like shit.
See, that's
it looks great. Imagining, being in 1991 or 1987. Yeah. So it's kind of difficult for me to do, but it's just hard. Maybe some of the earliest attempts at 3D gaming might.
Oh, that whole generation pisses me off. I can't handle a lot of the old PlayStation games. I got 2 answers for this. I got 2. Landstalker on the Mega Drive or Genesis. That game got so highly rated back in the day, and I personally still love it, but it hasn't aged well. You play that again, and trying to calculate where you got to jump from on the platforms is super difficult on that game because there's no reference. There's no point of reference. You're just taking a leap of faith every time you go to jump from one platform to the next.
I thought Light Crusader did it a lot better.
Yeah, and they later took that concept on the better, more powerful consoles, and it was the same game essentially, just with a new title. Oh God, what was it called? The sequel.
Dark Savior.
Dark Savior.
Duck Savior. I've got it. I don't know why. Did I say Duck Savior? I mean Dark Savior.
He's straight
That
accent
sounds like
coming
a
out.
different game.
That was good because you could move the camera around. That was one of the first games where you could do that, and that felt like a big step forward. That was one of the first 3D games where I thought they used the technology well. They didn't try to go too over the top with the... I mean, we all know what Bubsy 3D looks like. and that was what was going on in that generation. My other answer to it was a game that I'd looked back on and hated in this case, but now appreciate. I answered before with Super Mario Bros. 3. I didn't like it when it first came out because I looked at it and they were like, why is this game getting 98% in Mean Machines? Why is this game getting raved about? Because you look at the screenshots look like ass. They really didn't look good. It was just like, why is this? But then you play it.
Yeah, you actually sit there and actually look at it.
Yeah,
And, then actually...
and that was my problem back then. Because I wasn't an NES player, I never got a chance to just sit down and just say, Brian, shut up and just play it. You know.
I'm sort of having the same experience you're having, Brian. Like I literally did. I didn't have an NES till PS2.
Because Australia was just not NES territory. I'm sure that there was a lot of hardcore NES fans in the country, but compared to what Sega was doing, Master System just killed it here. It was dominating.
Pretty much in most of the PAL areas, Sega just knocked it out until Saturn, because we all know what happened there. But
Saturn's not our future. Saturn's not our future.
What was the statement? $2.99 at E3.
I hate it. I really hated that. It was so effective, but it was just so loaded with. It was so Sony of a thing to say because
it was a low blow, but it was
but it didn't explain what that $2.99 got you. When you paid the extra, what was it, $100 I think for the Saturn, you got a game, and you also didn't need to go out and buy a memory card because the Saturn had inbuilt memory.
Yep.
Why didn't Sega just drop it big time with? They should have been rubbing that in Sony's face. Their marketing back then was just...
They panicked and they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, but... All right, no. Did you have an answer? Sorry.
I do. Now, I know another question is a game that you thought sucked that you have a...
It was either.
Okay, so either.
A game that you flip-flopped on.
I thought was good, that now I think is great, that has now taken over the game that I thought was the best game ever. So, like, I'm going to go into Sonic territory now. So, like, say...
If you say Sonic R, I'm going to disconnect you.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic 3 and Knuckles for like the longest time was my favorite Sonic game. I thought it was the best. But recently, since I've been playing more of the older Sonic games for like one of my newer videos, the more I started playing Sonic 2, I started getting more of an affinity for that. And now I think I'd started realizing, because everybody would, well, not everybody, but a lot of people would look at me strange, like, oh, you like Sonic 3 over Sonic 2. Why? And I know that there are some people that are super hardcore. It's the quintessential Sonic experience. To some it is. To me, though, Sonic 2, I think, captures the essence of Sonic that we know better than Sonic 3. Mainly because it has pretty much the perfect kind of pacing. The levels are not too long.
The music is sublime.
The music is incredible. Don't get me wrong. The soundtrack of Sonic 3 is incredible, too. Particularly Ice Cap's out. But I, between playing that and then playing the outstanding 2013 remake, like, that remake is, it's the Christian Whitehead one. That one's awesome. I have it on my Apple TV. I paired my Xbox controller to it. It is brilliant. And I'm like, you know what? I think my life just changed. That game changed my life. Sonic 2 is now my favorite Sonic game.
Sorry, there's actually a fight going on in the comments now because...
I knew I was going to start.
Emerald Rangers has come out and said, I love Sonic R, and Game Boy Bryant's like, how?
Everything is good about Sonic R except actually playing it.
Yeah. Like, it's nice as like a trophy piece, and that's it at best. Like,
it's incredible. I will give it that.
I love the soundtrack to Sonic R. It's just that when you start, but when you press start and actually play it, it's just like, what is this hot dog pile of mess? All right, so what was that?
Brian, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
really sorry. Your audio does struggle there. Sorry.
I just wanted to give you an agreement with Landstalker because a good friend of mine, that's like one of his favorite games ever of all time. I never played it when it was really popular at its, at its height. I never really got into it. And so later on, he's like, you got to play Landstalker. You got to give it a try. It's like 4 or 5 years ago. And I have 2 copies of it. And I tried to get into it. And I couldn't. And normally an old school game, a retro game, I'm all about it. And just something about that isometric setup.
Yeah. So
I couldn't do
the background story to Landstalker for me was I actually got to see it when I was working at Sega. I was going out of my way into Chinatown to buy the Japanese magazines of Mega Drive releases. So I couldn't read a lick of Japanese, still can't, but I was just there for the screenshots because that was how we got our news. And this Japanese, I think it was Beep, I'm not sure. They had like a 10-page spread on Landstalker. These guys were just, there it is. They were just really simping over this game big time. I've got
so much better art.
actually, you guys have got alternative versions to the one I've actually got. I've got the PAL.
Oh, you have the PAL one?
Yeah.
I fully agree with you too, man. Landstalker, like when I did my Genesis Mini video and I tried to play Landstalker, I was like, this game is rough to play now. It is very rough to play.
Sorry, Game Boy Bryant's just going in with a highlighted comment. Public service announcement: if you have a copy of Sonic R, proceed with caution. Bubsy 2.
I have 3 copies of Sonic R. What if I told you that? I have the American, I have the Japanese, and I have the Sonic Gems collection on the GameCube, which has Sonic R on it.
I got it because I thought it was going to be good.
Me too. It's not good.
Yeah, there it is.
Just play Sonic and All-Stars Racing if you need a Sonic Racing fix.
All right, we'll move on. I've got to wake up my thingy with the questions. Sorry about this. All right. No, thank you. God, man, we're only up to question 3. We better move on. Thank you, Dave, for that one. Retro Kaiser's up next, who's lurking in the comments. Retro Kaiser with question number 4. What have you got for us, matey?
Hello, show. This is your old pal El Sorso, aka Retro Kaiser, from the Emerald Rangers channel and website. And I've got a question for you. Wait a second. I've got a much better way to ask this question. You ready for it? Let's go.
I have a question for you! Really good question for you! It's about licensed music in the video game. Which game had your favorite licensed music? And did it get you into any new bands?
What the fuck? What was that? All right.
Comments are gold.
Only
Oh my god. It took me... Alright, so I've watched it in a... this is not just a raw reaction. I've seen this before, but I had to watch that like 5 times to actually work out what the question was. For those who are watching this with me live now and don't know what he asked, you're not alone. The question is, what was a game that you played with licensed music that introduced you to a band that you like now? That's all he had to say. But he just went about it in a way that only Emerald Rangers could do.
I've got an obvious one for you, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Vice City.
I was thinking that, yeah, but that was not going to be my answer. Game Boy Brian just said someone let the inmate out of the asylum. Mine is my most obvious one is Road Rash. Jesse, Paul. That's for me one of my favorite soundtracks to any game of all time. Still hasn't been beat, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. Cross-legged collector, you had something delayed?
Wipeout XL.
Took my
Wipeout
answer.
XL.
Took my answer.
Wipeout XL got me into the Chemical Brothers and Prodigy and a couple of others, and I was just like, "Whoa!" What that game took me to another planet, man. And hearing the music in it, the presentation, everything, I became a big techno head after that.
Yep, same.
What was the Prodigy?
Games that I played didn't have licensed music, but
What was the Prodigy track that they had? What was the Prodigy track that they had on there where it was without the lyrics?
Firestarter.
It was Firestarter. How good was that? To be able to hear that, nothing against Keith, love Keith's voice, but to hear it again, but with no lyrics, it was just so cool. Yeah.
It's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
That,
that G, I didn't mean to take your answer.
That's
but
okay.
yeah, that was the one.
I got a backup answer. For that.
All right.
It's like I really have two. But yeah, Wipeout XL, what is it, 2048, what it's called, and then Impala, I think it's what it's called, 2048. Definitely, but I think the other one is going to be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah.
I think that's the...
Which we can't stream because of the music.
It's one of my favorite songs in any kind of licensed soundtrack or skater game or whatever.
How good is that intro? Is it 2 or 1 with the Akadaka at the start? Do we have to translate what Akadaka is for these two?
I think we might have to. Yeah.
Are you talking about Rage Against the Machine?
No, AC.
Okay, so that's the first one.
Akadaka is AC/DC, is Aussie slang.
Oh!
Yeah.
See, yeah, you're right. Didn't quite get
Yeah,
that.
let's not talk about HSPs as well. That'll blow their minds about HSPs and.
Hey, I know about
the music while racing in Sega touring cars. Oh, okay. I've got to get back into that one.
Licensed soundtrack?
Okay, so I'm going to change the question a bit. Do you prefer licensed music, or are you open to hearing in-house music?
I think at
in-house.
whole in-house is better, mainly
Same.
because we don't have incidents like Tony Hawk or whatnot to where you can't have a game come back for any sort of revival, or you can't stream it or something like that because there's some license kerfuffle. Like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, perfect example.
Yeah.
It's like there's some licensing kerfuffle, I believe, about the music.
So
now we
my
can't play that game anymore.
my first experience with licensing music taking over the game, hijacking the experience, was the EA Sports series. I used to love the NHL series back when they started doing CD music for the first time, and they had that hard hitting dun 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 dun. It just was so cool. And then they started using licensed music, and it was just like, this doesn't have the same effect. I like these songs, but it's not the same. It's not tailored to the hockey experience. So
You know what? You bring that up, and I agree with you. I can use an example: NFL Street and NBA Street. They suffered the same issue because, like,
the music
first
doesn't.
NFL Street had an outstanding original soundtrack. I loved it. I thought it was great.
And then they bring in all these bands. It's a lazy option. It's a lazy option for these guys to just, you know what? I like that Rage Against the Machine fellas. We'll use that track. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they
Rob
just.
Zombie's Dracula, which appeared in everything, including Jet Set Radio.
Imagine a game like
That was so weird.
licensing music and not having the Sega band and having the Sega musicians.
No.
Could you imagine what Could you imagine what Jet Set Radio would have sounded like if it was just a licensed track for 100%?
You know, I
mean,
have
at
that
least nobody-
sampler that has the licensed songs that are in it. And granted, the licensed songs that they put in the American version aren't bad,
What's that one
but
he's
they're
got?
really out of place.
Revolution.
That's the Aerosmith game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I knew the second I saw it, I went, oh my god.
If you're watching this, it means they've taken over.
Game Boy Brian says that he likes in-house music. License is cool, but it causes nothing but trouble. Okay, so that's just kind of like a side effect to. That's not my main focus on why I like it or don't like it. Although, granted, it does create problems when you go to try and port it over to other systems later on down the track. But I just think that music that is tailored for a game, like the Jet Set Radio, if they had have just gone 100% with licensed music, and the fact that it's even got Rob Zombie on there, it's just beyond me why they got that on there.
Yeah.
It
Don't
doesn't.
get me wrong, I love Jurassic 5. They're great, but I'm like, this doesn't fit in here.
Yeah, it's sort of. But honestly, the best soundtrack I'd say for any game in house would be Street Fighter 2. Guile's theme goes with everything. It does.
Isn't there a meme for that? Isn't there like a YouTube channel that just does that over and over again?
Go straight, Streets of Rage 2.
Have the like the intro to Golden Girls can even sound cool with.
Honestly,
Chemical Plant Zone, Sonic 2, come on. Come on.
That's one of Chemical Plant. I still remember getting Sonic 2 for the first time, beta version, and seeing that level for the first time with that music. I was just like blown away by how good that track sounded on a Mega Drive. Like everyone bags out the Mega Drive sound chip. I personally prefer it. That's a whole other argument over the Super Nintendo, because I think the Super Nintendo, in my personal experience, I've got to keep saying that, it sounds timid and weak compared to the Mega Drive.
You want orchestral sounds? Go Super Nintendo. If you want something that hits hard, whether it's rock or like a bass heavy line, Mega Drive.
Yeah.
That's really where it is.
All right, have we moved on from that? We're going to go to the next one.
By
the way, Retro Kaiser, go get help, please.
Seek help.
Please.
That was a great question, though.
It wasn't, yeah.
Stewie is up next with question number 5. Stewie, what have you got for us, matey?
It's Stewie here. How he's doing, and I hope you're having a great show. Just want to throw you a wee question for the show. I was just thinking to myself recently just how amazing it would be if I could actually have an arcade machine in my house. You know, just a legit, no one of these main ones, just a one-off arcade machine. And I was just thinking to myself what one I would like that to be. And I'm just wondering, what would you guys, if you only had one arcade machine that you could have, any arcade machine, what one would you pick? And if you just want to throw me your wee reply, I'd be more than happy. Hope you're having a great one, and take care and have a good show. Bye for now, guys. Bye.
All right, audio's on. Cool. All right, thank you, Stewie. I've got one, but I'll let you guys go first. Plods, just biting at the bit here for this one.
Mate, Final Fight, CPS 1, Street Fighter 2, whatever version, because the music's spectacular on that particular on the CPS 2 board, and Shinobi on the which board was that on? On the Sega boards. I can't remember what they called.
No, it was a Gemma. It was just a Gemma.
The system. Which one? System 32.
I say that because I owned it. I had it.
Shame on me. I don't even know it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the board was, but yeah, definitely the Shinobi version, the arcade version of Shinobi.
I loved it. Yeah. Mission 1. I regret selling that arcade machine. It wasn't an original. It was just one of those generic.
You were throwing the ninja stars.
The bonus stages were sublime on that, and it became a glorified money box for my room. But man, what a money box to have!
Yeah, well, I still miss the days of the arcades. Seriously.
Yeah, it's not the same.
They're still around. They're just in a different form now.
Mobile phones that take up the size of the wall. That's the game. You can play Flappy Bird on a screen this big. Like,
go to arcades, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Come down. If you ever come down to like South Houston, I'll take you to a couple of places.
I'll take you up on that offer one day. It will happen.
Indianapolis too, at the mall, a couple of bars where it's just basically an arcade, just like we used to go to. They just happen to sell alcohol.
Dude,
Kick ass.
Free Play Arlington. It's 4 hours away, but they have the Sega Sonic arcade game, and it's totally worth it.
We got them in Melbourne and Sydney as well. They're awesome.
I can vouch for the space station in Osaka. That was awesome. And we've also got here in Sydney, 1989 bar.
Yes.
I'm yet to get to it. I do want to. I'm saving it for a video.
There you go.
It's actually pretty.
There you go.
Yeah. But you haven't answered the question, guys. You haven't answered the question.
Well, Plod did. I'll actually cross-legged. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no. I could think of a ton really, but one that just kind of went bing and hit me in the head. If I could have that original machine in my house or in my garage or whatever, I'd say the original Star Wars arcade.
Okay, you and I, we need to collab or in some way, shape, he's stealing my answers.
Oh, man.
It's all right. I got backups.
Space area.
Good machine. There used to be a TV show here in Sydney called the Early Bird Show. I think that was the name of it. And they had a competition. The Last Gamer, who's the biggest the biggest game collection in the world formally. It's been knocked off. Joel from The Last Gamer. He appeared on that show. But I used to watch that show just for the bits where they would actually have contestants play the arcade games against each other in a competition. What have we got going on here? We've got a donation. Zilogan Motto has just donated $10. Thank you for the donation. I've got to, that is rather. Hang on. Where's my sound effect? There it is. Yay! I can do that on the fly now. Thank God. All right, so my answer: Super Street Fighter 2, hands down, without a doubt. I would love the original with the proper artwork, everything. That screen. I cried watching High Score Girl when they showed off. He was putting in the board. The shop owner, hey kid, would you like to see me put in the new board? I got this great new game called Super Street Fighter 2. and when you see Ryu in that opening and that music, man, you were just crying. Street Fighter 2. It was just such a cool intro, and the game did. The only thing that I don't like about it is that they replaced the announcer. I would love to know the background story, why they lost the round one fight with the round one fight. What was the story with the changing of the announcer? I would love to know that.
They probably because of the change they put four new characters in, and they're a lot more upbeat than the other ones. That's probably.
Come on, if you get it,
Guile too, because I know Guile in the home version sounds bad too. They go Sonic Boom instead of Sonic Boom.
Yeah. They must have had some sort of an argument or a disagreement with the guy that did the voice for it, because I can't think of any other reason why because he did sound like a kick-ass dude. Round one. Did you answer? You said Space Harrier. And G, you haven't answered.
Star Wars and Space Harrier.
He's just saying them all. Yeah.
Well, my number one, and the funny thing is just that it coincides with the what's your favorite game ever question, because I need an arcade cabinet. Someday we will have a Dance Dance Revolution machine. Someday it's gonna happen. Yeah, I will. It will be 50 by the time I'll be 50.
Dude, if you ever get to the UK, you've got to collab with DJ Slopes.
I would love to.
No, but it's got to be just for that, for the dance. Seeing you two dance off would be kind of a cool video to watch.
There's
all right.
videos of me out there of me playing DDR. I gotta find them, but I don't know.
Look across.
And then I'd say right behind that, an Outrun sit-down cabinet, because I love Outrun. And then I guess if not Star Wars Arcade, then I would also say Golden Axe: The Revenge of Death Adder.
That's a great soundtrack on that board.
Well, thankfully, I know it's not the real thing, but Arcade 1-Up is coming out with a Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder, so I'm like...
I'm tempted. I'm still tempted to get a Street Fighter. I could put it somewhere here. I don't know where.
I'm
Got no room.
My wife is like, we already have one cabinet. Where are we going to put that one? I will find a place.
All right.
The Death Adder one.
Stewie, thank you very much for that question, matey. We're going to move on now to question number 6, which is the top loader. What? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Just rub it in. Rub it in. Seriously. Question number 6, the top loader. Go make a coffee or something. This is going to go for a while.
Still going, because in case you can't hear me, I want to make sure that this one's on so you can really hear me. Crystal clear. Can you hear me? Crystal clear? That's not my question. My question is, what did your parents think about games? Did they like it? Did they encourage it? Did they say, you're wasting your time? My parents were divided. They did like me playing games, but they did think the console games were much too expensive for me to play. For me, I was pretty lucky. My dad was right into games, he was into the Commodore 64, he was into PC gaming, he was into all that kind of stuff. But when it came to the console side of things, he had a whole different view to that because he always saw it as more of a kid's thing. Now, when you consider that games are $80 to $100 now, we were playing a lot more for games back then, so I can understand what my parents were thinking. How was he gonna afford this stuff? The games were $100 Australian to buy, and I gotta see my parents' side of it because $100 in 1992, 1993, it would be inflated to like $140 now, surely. I mean, that was a lot of money. Considering that games are like $80 to $100 now, that's not my question. My question is, what did your parents think about games?
I was just dozing off there. Thank you, top loader. Yes, he did go over a minute. He did. 1 minute and 7 seconds. Guys, that's the timely reminder. If you got a question for the show, send it in to brian@synthspaces.com. Yes, I've got my own domain. And make sure it's a minute or less, not like top loader did, and record it in landscape. And
this way.
And I do say be creative, but we all saw how creative people can get. So yes, that's the one. Top loader is asking what did your parents think of gaming? Did they support you? Did they turn a blind eye? I suspect Plod's got the more interesting answer here.
Why is that?
Because you're an Aussie, and Aussies have weird. Aussies had dated views on gaming in that era.
It's like, for me, it was just part of the. It wasn't like they didn't play them, or like when I was younger, oh sure they'll buy it, and suddenly you buy your first PS2 game, they're like, oh, you're wasting money on games.
Yeah, that bloody nut, yeah.
Yeah, or like I might go and buy like Metal Gear Solid, 1. Oh, the graphics are really interesting when you're playing on the TV, but suddenly, how much did you pay for it? $100? Oh, it could have gone to something else. Yeah.
And in the 90s, $100, which he pointed out in this video, it was super expensive. The most expensive game I've ever bought was Virtual Racing on the Mega Drive, and that cost $160. $160, man. And I bought. Actually, no, it wasn't the most expensive. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Your cover looks way different. It didn't even have the proper logo on the front. That is so odd.
Really?
Do I need to play out my one? My Japanese one I have?
You know what's
I need to get that.
Is that in America, I don't know if it was like that in... There you go. I don't know if it was like that in other countries, but in America, Phantasy Star 4 came out at $100.
Yeah, it was super expensive, and it stopped that game from being... I've got actually the American version of Phantasy Star 4,
okay.
And the roleplay genre was just held back because of how big the games needed to be, and it jacked the prices up. Plus, you had Earthbound being not only an expensive game but released in a huge box, just made people go, "What the hell is this nonsense?"
Yeah. Final Fantasy, like they came out as 1, 2, 3, but they were like 4, 5, 6.
Oh Jesus, they screwed that up.
4 and 6.
Yes, they
5
did.
never came out to PlayStation.
But yeah, he's so. G, do you have a twist on this?
Yeah.
Are your parents scornful and looking at you now? Look, you've brought dishonor in your family with that backdrop that you've got behind you.
Oh, actually, you would think so, but far from it. Because
No?
the
Okay.
interesting thing about my parents were, because we played games together, my dad and I. Because I know I've probably told this story several times.
Never, ever.
Nah, same plod, same.
Never happened.
Never happened.
The interesting thing, I know I've said this before, but like my dad and I used to play in the arcade at the bowling alley.
You have told me this story, yes.
And I guess they must have had a contract with Sega or something because they had all the Sega arcade games there. And so but they also had like the Atari games.
What a problem to have.
That's a horrible problem to have. But yeah, so when the games started coming home, my dad would buy them. I mean, yeah, he would buy it for us, but he'd be like, "Hey, so you want to play?" It's like, "You want to play together? You want to play Pac-Man?" I think so. We always.
Man, that would be awesome to have an old man like that.
Well, it was really up until
I'm jelly.
the era came around.
Yeah.
Because we played NES games together too. Like Basis Loaded 3, that was our favorite game to play together. But once we hit the 16-bit era, it was like, okay, I'm not really feeling playing games anymore. But you still love them. And I got really hardcore into the 16-bit, and then they started getting a little bit more concerned because they were just like, okay, it's fine.
They obviously lost that battle.
Huh?
They lost that battle, obviously.
Oh no. But as long as my grades were good,
Yeah.
they never really put anything behind it. And yeah, I mean, I had good grades. I was a good kid in school. They even got me the Sega Channel, and it was like,
Wow.
as long as I kept good grades and I was a good kid. And they never.
Plot, are you listening to this? We just didn't get this kind of stuff in Australia. We're just like,
Honestly, like my dad, who used to buy me stuff from Japan, bring it back. He'll go, "Oh, I bought this for like $60. Oh, here's Virtua Racing on Mega Drive." No one else in Australia had it at that point. And we actually had to file the freaking cartridge. It was that huge.
What's this? Oh, you got the box still. Jeez.
The adapter. Yep. Oh, my wife.
Oh, so hang on. Back to.
The original one we had growing up, but this is the model that we had though.
That's interesting.
That's cool.
Plod, back to your story. You said you had to file the cartridge. Are you talking about the slots because they wouldn't go in on local? Yeah, my Mega Drive, which is packed away, has the same thing. I've actually had to hack it.
It was weird. Like for my dad, he would buy me stuff like games, and then suddenly go, "Oh," like you say, "Well, do you want to come and have a game?" Like he was interested, and then suddenly, "Oh, it's not really my thing." And
right,
I'm like, "Cool, you've bought this from Japan and not wanting to sit down with your son and play a game." Like,
that's odd. Astral, sorry, just going to interrupt. Astral Gaming 88, Astral Gamer, I should say 88, has just followed. Thank you for the follow.
Nice.
And he gets a ding.
They were super supportive, and even now, like because I've now built a following, and I've started doing videos on YouTube about sharing my memories and about these classic games. Now they're more supportive than ever. So,
it's weird, like even this Twitch streaming stuff. It's like they go, "Oh, how's the streaming going?" I'm like, "Cool," I'm getting like companies coming to me and asking questions and getting me to play games.
They don't get it. They just don't get it. That's the problem. Yeah.
They don't get it, but they want to be supportive.
Yeah.
No, it's just complete apathy to it. It's just nothing.
No.
Cross-legged gamer. What's your story with you versus parents?
I have a feeling that my parents are generally in a different threshold. My dad is 83 years old.
Jeez.
My mother is 80. So I have older parents, and they're very old-fashioned. And they were not like necessarily supportive of it. They weren't against it. They were just like, "God damn Nintendo." Grades, I was allowed to play them. If I got into trouble or my grades went down, they'd unhook that sumbitch and go hide it somewhere.
Yep.
And I wouldn't get it back until the grades got good.
Yep.
Now, as I got older and I started to get into it, like in the 16-bit days, Sega CD and stuff like that, I was into it. But I'm also a musician, and I was trying very hard to get into writing video game music for a living. And when they saw that I was taking the talent that I have for music and trying to divert that into my love for gaming, they were just they weren't quiet about it, but they were like, hey, if that's what you want to do, then by all means do it. They never really had a problem with it. I mean, when I was young and spending their money, they weren't that into it. So it's with comic books and stuff. But once I got to the point where I was 16, 17 years old and buying this on my own, they were like, look, that's if you want to spend $80 on Chrono Trigger, fine, go ahead. But other than that,
That's a good purchase, by the way.
They still are. They know that I'm kind of a fledgling with the YouTube channel, and they know about my collection and how I'm always all organized and my music and how I've had like my foot in the door of the industry a couple times. And
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Did you get any success, or did you get anywhere with the music?
Yes, I did. Matter of fact, from an individual named John Romero.
No. What?
Yeah.
John Romero.
Yeah. John Romero, the guy that made Doom. Yes, he's a big fan of mine. And
wow.
He actually had gotten me to write some music for one of the games for a company he had called Slipgate Ironworks about 10 or 11 years ago. And the game unfortunately never came out. It was a big MMO.
Oh.
And
that sucks.
That was it never came out, but I got
still good experience. Yeah.
I got paid for it. So hey, that was cool. And I mean, my badges from E3 still have my name and musician.
That's good. No, that's good.
So I got kind of in there a little bit, but not like I wanted to. Nothing like a Jake Kaufman, like Vert. That guy's on a completely different level. But yeah, I kind of got in there. I almost wrote for a major magazine and stuff. So I've had brushes.
So
But
just
yeah, the John Romero fan is huge. I've talked to him on the phone. I still contact with him. He bought me out of the blue, www.quinfox.com. I mean, it was pretty wild. So
wow,
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
that's
actually really
that was
cool.
my
wow, that's pretty cool to get a John Romero story here on the channel. That's great. What happened also while you're telling that awesome story? You just totally took the limelight away from Emerald Rangers, who has tipped $6.66. Love it. Death Metal Tomato Soup was the. Thank you very much for the tip. No, that's an awesome story. I've had a couple of people have some good stories on in the past. Sorry, but no one will ever beat the Michael Jackson story with the Al Nilsson interview. That was like, I'll never top that, I don't think. But that's definitely up there.
See, I thought my best one of my best stories was meeting Seth Killian.
I still have the contract. Actually, I still have the contract with the signatures and everything.
Oh, awesome!
I just thought meeting Seth Killian and also meeting the developers for Asura's Wrath was pretty good, to be honest.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was random evented in Sydney. It's like, oh, hey guys.
my goal is to one day get on the credits of a game. I've done a few. I've ticked off a few other goals, but I still haven't got that goal ticked off. So that's. I'm not talking. Oh, he donated money or he backed it.
Kickstarter. You want to actually be part of it.
I want to be in some way involved with a game development in one way or another. So that one day will happen. Alrighty, I think we're going to move on. That was awesome.
Yeah, just had like a little bit. We are starstruck. We've got a big.
Yes. We have got Uncle Chunt. By the way, Top Lighter, thank you for the question. That was an interesting one. We've got Uncle Chunt, the Chunt of Uncle.
Yeah.
Seriously.
All right, so just got to get to the question. Now, here's his question number 7. Chunty, what have you got for us?
Well, hello there. Yes, it is me, Uncle Chunt, the hooded one tonight. Just want to submit a question for Sin Spacies show. I want to know, do you care much for digital games? Will you ever see yourself living in a digital-only environment? Will you go down kicking and screaming? I'm sure a lot of people out there will, but it is the future. Unfortunate for some. Keeping this under a minute, that is my question. Will you accept the inevitable at some point? My name, it is Uncle Chunt. Have a good one. Look forward to your answers.
Oh, Uncle Chunt, we were just talking about your name. Yeah. And I was going, oh man, I'm glad that's muted. You guys can fill in the dots. We didn't even find out what the question was after all. We're just caught up in his name. What do you think about an all-digital gaming future? Do you fear it? Do you care? Is it something that concerns you? I'm going to kick off. I hate it. I'm going to straight up say that I get why people are getting behind an all-digital future, but let's think about it. The new PlayStation 5, you've got 2 models coming out. You pick up the digital model. You are bound to that store. That's it. You don't have any options as to where you get your games from. If you buy the disc version, which looks stupid by the way, it's like, oh shit, we forgot something. Oh yeah, the drive on the side. It's the dumbest design. I'm sorry, I'm just putting it out there. 1, PlayStation 5 looks like a sailboat, and 2, the disc drive version looks like they just forgot something at the last minute. But if you have the disc version, you're going to be able to go to your nearest, in our case, EB Games. Yes, it's still a thing here. And you will be able to take advantage of the discounted secondhand games that they got for sale. Pre-owned. We're not allowed to call it secondhand. Pre-owned.
I hate that.
It was owned once upon a time, and now it's yeah, anyway. So that's my argument against digital future. I get the convenience. I love the fact that you can just pull that game up and hit start straight away without having to go look for and also you won't have, look at the backgrounds on these 2 dudes, and to a lesser degree mine. You don't get that. You're not going to get a PlayStation 5 collection looking like that maybe down the track. I don't know what's going to happen with the future, but I don't want to sound like Clint Eastwood, get off my lawn type thing, but this is one thing, this is a hill that I will stand on and fight against. I do not like the digital future.
I agree with you. And that... Go ahead. You go ahead.
Go ahead, bud.
No, you first.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, yeah, I felt a lot more like what you were saying, Brian. And I still do. I'm still pro-physical all the way. If a game comes out physically and I have the means to get it that way, I would much rather have it on physical because, when you have it, it's yours. I get it. But I think now we've kind of gotten to a point to where that battle is starting to become a lot more futile. And
I get it.
Now, especially with the Switch. The Switch is a perfect example.
You open it up and there's these little...
Because my thing is that you can only carry so many carts at a time in my case. And there are some games that... Animal Crossing, Mario Kart. There are some games that I always want to have on me, and I don't have to worry about switching carts however, and I can just take my Switch and go. I do like that, but at the same time, I do realize that, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're bound to that. Now, per what you were saying before, too, I just want to put this out there for a lot of people. I noticed that a lot of people haven't really given Sony crap for coming out with an all-digital version of the PS5. Pardon me, but I believe a lot of people gave Microsoft hell for their all-digital Xbox One.
I've said this before again with someone, yeah.
I'm just like, y'all gave Microsoft crap for this, but on Sony it's okay? Alright, sure, whatever.
Mind you, Don Matrix had a face you could punch. I'm sorry, just hearing him up on stage. TV.
It's like, I prefer physical over digital, but it's like, I'm kind of, now at this point, I'm kind of starting to embrace a digital future because it's like, it's going to happen. And I am starting with the Switch, I am starting to see a convenience in that.
Can I just add that if they do go down that path of digital only, which is looking like the way it's going to go, that they need to create alternative shop fronts in order to give consumers a choice. Because and the other thing is, you'll always see a tweet post come out every now and again. How's your digital future going now? When someone takes down a game, the Turtles, for example, and you touched on the Scott Pilgrim. yeah,
Well, there
game
are
before.
other means of buying digital codes. I mean, you can buy digital codes from GameStop, from Best Buy, from Amazon.
I think it's going to go back to the Toys R Us system where you just take the little tag and take it to the counter.
tags.
And yeah, it's going to go to that.
Yeah, like perfect example. I bought Burnout Paradise Remastered for Xbox One for $5 on Amazon. On the store, it was $19.99. So
Zologan Moto has just put in the comments a very good point. The Switch cards don't even hold the whole games, and
they don't.
Which
They
is and that goes for Xbox One. You're buying yourself a key that just unlocks the download of that game.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's, was it Tony Hawk?
Right?
Tony Hawk 5?
You're gonna download something anyway.
My favorite example of this was when Street Fighter 4 first came out.
Oh yeah, the DLC was on the game.
There was
Yeah.
nothing.
It was like nothing. And you used to pay $25 to unlock every character if you would pay for it. And I'm thinking, like everyone's like, "Oh, this is disgraceful," and then suddenly that started happening more and more, and then everyone's just become used to it.
Because it was successful.
Like literally, I've got Wolfenstein 2 on PC. It's still wrapped in its tin case. I never took the CD out once. I just needed the code, and that was it.
I've got the same thing going on. I'm the same.
My,
Here's me standing on my hill.
Yeah, it's like my Vita collection, which is in the other room. More than half those games I have are sealed because I've gotten them digitally for either pennies on the dollar because they've been so cheap, or I've gotten a code through some other means. So I'm like, why open the cart? I still want to keep it.
Can I just applaud though, Sony, that even though that the design of the disc version looks stupid, that they at least took the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got to at least give them a bit of a golfer's clap for that. And I think this has got to be the last generation with physical.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
No.
I think it's one more, at least
You
one
don't
more.
think
So?
I don't think so.
This is the... Come on, stop for a second. Stop for a second. The next generation is going to be, what, at least 2028. Yeah, it sounds like science fiction now.
One company is going to keep physical alive. It's going to be Nintendo.
Yeah, it's priority for one. And
Sorry.
It stops them.
Cross-legged game is itching to say something. Sorry.
Hey, look, mate, it's the cross-legged collector. Yeah, it's me now. No. I think that there will always be some. Sure, you're going to have like the limited runs and the strictly limiteds and people like that that'll be putting it out, but you know they're bound by what they can make and what they can actually put out there. Obviously, I'm into physical copies. I always have been. Generally, I won't do a digital game unless, let's say, Untitled Goose Game. Perfect example. I mean, it's not expensive. I'm not paying $60 for something that's just, I can't hold it. I can't touch it.
True.
When I can spend the same amount of money and actually have a case and a CD and a manual or something that's actually, real that I can actually touch, it's physical. But I remember when they were talking about, the future of gaming is all mobile. And we thought, home consoles are going to go away. It's all going to be mobile. And it hasn't happened. And I think the same thing, it's going to be all digital. Physical will go away. I think that physical will still find a way to stick around, whether it be on the tiny little Switch things and be a key or be a disc, what have you. I think it's going to stick around pretty much for the next 20 years, most likely, I think.
I hope so.
Emerald Rangers has just kicked in with a valid point. Emerald Rangers has just said, I'm more worried about the prior generations having games that are degrading due to time.
Yeah.
Disc rot. I have to say that very carefully.
Disc rot is a real concern.
I'm actually still worried about Neo Geo going out of the limelight completely due to these conditions. They're not making any more devices. They're not releasing any more games. So once those AES cartridges are gone.
Well, I wonder if they'll keep that alive with the not the Neo Geo Mini, but the other one,
the joystick. Yeah,
that one.
But it's still emulation. It's just
it's
not the physical card. That's the thing. Like, it'll be sad if they ever get rid of, like, if you never be able to find an AES cartridge, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Not everything's been ported over. Like,
Wait a second. See, you can talk about disc rot, but you know what? I've got Saturn games back here that are 25 years old or older, and they still work just fine. If something's going to be worried about disc rot, by the time that disc is rotting away, you're probably not even going to be able to play that console anymore. It's going to take like decades, man. We're talking 40, 50 years if you're taking care of your
I don't think it's as serious a problem as people would say, but it is a concern. It is a concern nonetheless. I think we've gone on that one a little longer than I figured. Last question is from. Thank you, by the way, Uncle Chunt. Love your work, guys. Get on and subscribe to Uncle Chunt. Great channel, and he's
name ever. Seriously.
and it's the Chuntinator. There's just so many things you can do with that name. Yeah, like cross-legged collectors is like, no, don't go there. All right.
Language.
All right, and the last one is from my old mate Cameron Hans. Cameron, what have you got for us?
Hey everybody, it's me, making my triumphant and long-awaited return on the Synth Spacey Show. Anyway, I've got a question for everybody on this episode, and my question is, if there was anything that needed to be updated or fixed in Animal Crossing New Horizons, what would you like to see? I would personally like to see the Isabelle announcements removed completely because they're absolutely useless and make Crazy Red appear more than once a month. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. And fix up the online, I guess. But what about you? Have you still been playing it? And what do you think needs to be fixed in the game? That's it from me. Bye!
Thank you, Mr. Hans. Yeah, I can see someone here is just going to fall asleep. I'll get to you in a sec, Plod. Cross-legged collector, do you play Animal Crossing? You haven't really, haven't entered in the conversation on that one.
I have never played any Animal Crossing game ever.
All right, so it's just this half of the screen then. Okay. I personally wish they wouldn't be so PC. They're so politically correct with this game. Yes, I get it. It's for kids, but they've gone to the extreme where in the past games, if you had one of the villagers ask you to do something and you didn't do it, they really went down hard on you and they got the shits. They just would, go mental on you like, oh, no good asking you for anything. You're so useless. It's something like, sometimes that was really hard. And they got rid of Rossetti, like, because he was making kids cry.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Poor man out of a job.
And now, and now he's out of a.
I'm not mad for not saving your game. You put the poor guy out of a job.
Can I say, like, in this recession, in this economy, they got rid of the best character in the entire series? Oh my god.
I don't know. For me, it's Blathers, but that's yeah.
He talks too much.
He does, and it's
hence the name. Okay. I got a question in for you too, but hang on, you haven't answered, G.
Was that all?
No. What would you like? What would you do to make the game improve the game? What would you like to see?
Fix the shoddy online.
He said. He said besides the online because it's just such a give.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My fault.
I didn't write that down. Sorry.
Well, then I would probably say out of anything, what else would I fix on that? Ooh, I'd probably say, you know what? I'm gonna go off of what you said too. Beyond the conflicts, I just think that, and it seems like it did get a little bit better with the last update, like with the last festival that they did. That it seemed like the characters don't have nearly as much to say now than they did back in the day. Like you'll notice that the same conversations kind of start going on loop a lot more frequently.
Repetitive.
In this one than in the older ones.
Can I add one more thing?
Big thing to say about
Music.
it. Oh, go ahead.
I hate the music.
Oh.
You don't like it? I like it.
No, I hate it. I prefer the GameCube version. The soundtracks on that used to be haunting and a little bit, and this one again too safe. It's just too commercial. It's just
I think they did go a little too with it. And oh, you know what? I did think of one other thing. I would say not be so finicky with the controls when you're terraforming. That's probably one of the other things too. Nice. Because
well,
it seems like
just a
more
bit of
often
death metal.
I use Pro Controller every time I play. So I'm just like, okay, when you're trying to terraform, you're trying to make the water, like, more often than not, I'll hit the wrong spot, and then I gotta go and undo that spot, and then try to redo the proper spot on it. And
All
it's
right,
like,
I'm gonna change.
I love the idea, but I don't think control-wise they really nailed it, and it's something that I think that they could fix.
I'm going
in
to
firmware
change the
update.
question for these two who are just dozing off to sleep and goofing off. What would Animal Crossing need to do to get you guys interested? Flamethrowers.
I don't even know what you do in the game. I don't even know. I mean, is it like a Tamagotchi kind of thing?
Kinda.
It's a life simulator with animals.
Have you played Harvest Moon? It's pretty much Harvest Moon, but with villages.
No, I mean, I'm the owner. I'm a cat owner, and one of my cats weighs almost 30 pounds, for God's sake.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a conversation about you and that cat. That's yeah.
Well, I got 3 of them. Trust me, I know.
That's Dwayne Hicks, by the way. He's the third. And by the way, bonus if anyone knows where that name comes from, Dwayne Hicks.
That name sounds very familiar.
It's not a Clerks thing, no.
Isn't that the guy from The Office?
No, it's a guy though, Dwayne Hicks.
That name sounds very familiar. Oh my goodness.
No, the guy from the. Hey.
It's what?
Michael B. character from Aliens.
Oh.
Hicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, what would it take into it? I think really the only way I could really get into it is if what could happen to me has happened to a lot of my friends who play it. Their wife gets into it, or their girl gets into it.
Same.
My wife were able to be able to get into it, then I probably would be like, all right, what's up with this, and show interest and maybe help her out.
Yep.
Like she did that with me with Goose Game. She sat back and she's like, well, try this, see if that works, and it was great. It was wonderful, interaction.
Yep.
I don't think otherwise. I don't think that's probably going to happen. It's nothing against anybody else for liking it. I just don't think I want to get into it.
Dude, I can tell you, as somebody who played every Animal Crossing since, I have had the most fun. And I wish she was here right now, so that way she could hear me because she's at work. But I've had the most fun with New Horizons purely because of the time that I've spent with my wife playing that game. And this was her first Animal Crossing. And she went hard.
That's awesome.
She has maybe 600 hours already logged into it. And I'm just like, I knew she was gonna like it. I didn't know she was gonna like it that much. Now we're having dates through Animal Crossing. We're doing catalog events together. We're doing scavenger hunts together.
Dates. You're having dates. Oh God, I hate 2020.
And we had a date in Animal Crossing.
This thing I heard was there was an actual talk show host who set up a full studio and everything.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love the creativity of people's islands and whatnot that they've done
I
too.
think
It's
for the
amazing.
declaration of something to spark interest, it's the perfect game because you can play with friends, you can be creative however you want. Like there's a couple of Australian streamers who are also entertainers who literally do the same thing. They make their own game, and they drag everyone in. And it's like, oh yeah, this is amazing, and it's like it'd be amazing. I'll probably. I'm like,
but you're having more fun bagging it out on the sideline.
I don't. It's not in my field of vision at the moment. I do not care about it because I've got other things to play.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's fair enough, and it is a time. It is a time hog. We've got a couple of things.
Not everyone's cup of tea.
No, we've got a couple.
Time's my biggest factor with this sort of stuff. So.
Got a couple of things going on in the chat. I got Game Boy Bryant doing a poll, which I just didn't catch on to. What do you want from the next gen? And the winner of that poll was new franchises, and followed by better graphics. We always want better graphics, but I think it's got to the point where graphics is no longer really the issue.
How much more can you improve it, really?
It's now just the load times, which they're addressing. The ease of play, I think, is another thing. I don't know. I don't really know what I want from this next generation. And it's not 3D audio. That's
accessibility for.
What even is that?
Yeah.
You know, it's like at some point, then you're just adding gimmicks, and I'm just like,
I would say accessibility for people who are disabled, maybe like adding more compatibility for everyone to be able to play.
Dude, the Xbox adapter.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
It's one of the coolest things. I got a chance to get hands-on with it at a convention last year.
Oh,
it was
right.
one of the coolest things I had ever seen.
Because I know people.
They showed me how it works. They had somebody in a wheelchair, and they showed exactly how it all works and all the adapters. I was like, that's so cool.
Anything to get gaming more accessible for the masses is just, and the minorities is excellent in my books. So just gaming for everyone.
I've been thinking about this.
I'm with the. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while. Like, how do you get from now on? Where are we going to go? Because graphics are taken up. You know, we just add more hardware, better hardware all the time. Why not look at the accessibility? You know?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna end it on that. That was the final question, guys. Awesome job. It worked well for the most part, except for Darth Vader at the start. Welcome to Synth Species. I don't need a voice.
I have to hear that.
Cross-legged collector. Besides me getting your name wrong for half the damn stream. What are you? Have you got any plans that you want? Where can we find you? This is your little moment to advertise what you're doing on YouTube, etc.
Yeah. Been enjoying like a nice steady incline on Twitter, and I'll just post some silliness on there. Updates to my collection and just anything to maybe make you smile or laugh. But I do have a YouTube channel. It's just the Cross-Legged Collector because I'm sitting cross-legged right now. Anyway,
I was wanting to know where you got that name from. Thank you for clearing that up.
I'm usually sitting in front of the shelves cross-legged when I'm organizing and making, that goes there, and trying to make it look pretty, and it just clicked.
Nice.
But yeah, I got the YouTube channel that I have. I've been making videos since about October. And it's pretty down to earth. I mean, I'm just a really passionate gamer. I'm older than some people think. I'm actually 43 years old, and that surprises some people. And I'm still a kid at heart. So, if you like cats and you like retro gaming and you like passion and emotions with those games and, really treating them like a true art form, I'm your guy. And, on Twitter, again, I find Twitter to be the best kind of social media outlet for me for what I do, more than Facebook, and more, a little bit of Instagram and stuff like that's fine, but Twitter, just being as succinct as it is, is the best fit for me right now. So
no, I have to
I
agree.
like it. It's a lot of fun to do.
I agree.
So
all right, G to the next level. What have you got? Have you got anything you willing to reveal, or are you keeping it hush hush? He's keeping it hush hush. Where can we find you?
I'll totally. So first off, where to find me? Pretty much everywhere at G to the next level. Like welcome to the next level, but with my name, G. Kind of like what you see on the shirt here.
Yep.
Pretty much Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I believe I have a TikTok for some reason. But I'm mainly on.
He flosses. He flosses on there daily.
Hey, I had the Sonic movie. You gotta learn, right? And of course, my main is my YouTube channel, G to the Next Level, where it's about retro gaming in the modern age, but with a little bit of Sega and Sonic flair. But I keep it into like being more of a variety kind of shows. Like if you like countdown lists, like top 10 videos, I got you. If you like game reviews, I got you. If you like Sega, I got you. If you like childhood stories, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, I got you. Basically, what am I working on right now? Coming very, very soon, I've got a review on the worst Sonic game ever. And it hurt making this video, so I really hope it does well. And then I've got a video about the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. I'm working on that right now. I've got a couple of projects down the pipeline as well.
Dude.
And yeah.
That's cool.
Hopefully see you there.
So I'm just liking the
I love that.
Sega
That's
Sega
awesome.
Tower. I need more Sega in my life. Can you believe I said that?
Everybody needs Sega in their life.
Plodsky, what do you got? Where can we find you? Now, this is a streamer. He's not a YouTuber.
I'm not a YouTuber. I'm purely Twitch, basically. But I am a massive smartass on Twitter. I'm exactly how I am here on Twitch. I'm a variety streamer but I do a lot of retro stuff. I am currently doing a full playthrough of the Metal Gear series, which is it's breaking me a bit, to be honest. Because going from 5 to Metal Gear, it's like 30 years in reverse. It's like, it actually hurt me, that game, but
You
I
were
did it for charity as well. So
And you were playing The Last of Us, which is a game that I streamed as well.
I've got 2 as well. So I'm also doing a lot of other stuff as well. But I try different things all the time. I also have a massive collection as well of retro gear, as I think Brian's seen in photos on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Remember all that stuff I had to pull out and the theft? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
pretty sad.
what was left? And it's like,
Yeah.
No.
But look, I'm happy that I got a couple of art books out of it because the thieves left a whole lot of stuff behind.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like small blessings, you know how it is. But
Okay.
yeah, I do a lot of Warhammer stuff as well. But otherwise, yeah, I just hang out and do Twitch. You know?
And me, you can find me on YouTube, although lately I've been sort of veering over to Twitch more because I'm enjoying it more. And I find that Twitch is a platform where you get more support. YouTube, it's just like speaking into a big echo. There's nothing. Like
You get reciprocation for what you do, which is really
yeah.
fun.
So I will be still putting out YouTube videos. I've got to do the 1984 Gaming Since Spacies series. It's going to be 1984 is the next video coming up. Game of the Year for 1984. I don't know off the top of my head what I will pick, so that's going to be interesting. I've just finished playing The Last of Us. I've played that for the first time. I hate it. I like it. It's just one of these games where I love the storyline, but the game mechanics just bug me. I just don't like having to craft stuff halfway through the game all the time. It's just I don't know. I know some people like it.
What difficulty were you running it on?
I was playing it on the easiest. Like I was there for the story.
So you're not me then, who does everything on hard or the hardest level to just punch himself.
Life's too short. Life's too short.
Yeah, if I like a game that much, I'll go back and play it on hard. But
the biggest
my thing apparently is I torture myself for everyone.
I saw you playing last night, and I was just like, "Why are you doing that to yourself? It's just too hard. Forget it."
Did I beat that?
You keep going through, yes, but at what cost? At what cost?
Well, my sanity's well and truly gone by now, so.
But the next game that I'll be streaming, first time I'm announcing it, is going to be Color Splash on the Wii U because we've got the new RPG Mario game coming out very shortly, and I just think it's a game that died off with a whimper. No one really talked about it when it got released, and it's not as bad as some people were talking about. What have you got?
That's another one that didn't get ported to the Switch.
Yes.
I want to play that really bad. I really want to play that
This
game.
died off within 2 days. Seriously, that's another one. Brian, you should give it a run.
I like how people do call me Since. I had a guest on What the Show, which rest in peace. They don't have any more YouTube videos anymore, which is such a shame. That was such a good channel, and he was yelling out Since. I was like, oh, that's for me.
I know you were since Spacies.
Yeah.
Brian. It's still
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's just call me Spacies. I'll answer. I'll answer to anything. Really.
Dickhead.
I've been called worse. Been called Chunt. On that note, thank you everyone for joining. We will be back again very soon because this was delayed due to all sorts of issues with the PC. The Since Spacies show number 18 will be back in a few weeks time actually. So get your questions in. Make sure you're following if you're not already, and leave a like and comment if you're watching this later on the YouTube version. In the meantime, my name's been Brian and I've been gaming since Spacies. Thanks guys. Bye. Where's my ending? Where's my ending? There it is. Bye.
Since Spacies.
G'day invaders, welcome to Since Spacies, and this is episode number 17 of the Since Spacies show, and I am joined by some good eggs. Yeah, pretty impressive looking bunch of eggs we've got here.
Sorry. Sorry, I gotta just stop for a second. I got told this whole time I've been doing it in Darth Vader voice. And I had the Darth Vader music running in the background, and I'm just seeing it in the comments, loving how he has the Empire music in the background. Something's wrong with the audio. Brian sounds weird and I can't hear the others. Is it just me? All right, I'll restart the intro. Sorry. That's awesome.